Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will going to start with a new test which is for the geography, and we will going to solve 30 questions in next 30 minutes, right? Just like the UPSC scenario. First of all, the question says, the first question is, which one of the following best describe the concept of planetary boundary layer? Planetary boundary layer. So the statement one says entire region. Concept है ये एक, which is known as planetary boundary layer. Entire region of the atmosphere above the Earth's surface, where weather phenomena like cloud precipitation occur due to convection and heat transfer. So, from the word itself, planetary boundary. So there are some boundary of planet. So that is the thing that we have to inculcate from these statements, that which of the following is most suitable for the concept. The lowest part of the atmosphere, which is directly influenced by the earth's surface, where turbulence and mixing caused by surface friction, heat and moisture fluxes dominate. The lowest part of the atmosphere which is directly influenced by earth's surface, turbulence, mixing of heat, moisture, surface friction, they will dominate. The layer in the stratosphere, where ozone absorbs the UV radiation, playing a critical role in shielding the Earth from harmful solar rays. The atmospheric layer near mountain ranges, where the flow of air is distorted by the terrain, causing localized weather pattern and wind circulation. So near mountain ranges, it is very narrow. So this one is very narrow. It is about only a mountain range, and we are talking about some planet related thing. This is also with respect to stratospheric particular zone of the the atmosphere, which is, I don't think so, again a narrow approach. We will go with the broad approach. Entire region of the atmosphere above the surface, where the weather uh, cloud precipitation occur due to the convection and heat transfer. So maybe this or this. 50-50. The lowest part of the atmosphere, which is directly influenced by the earth's surface, where turbulence and mixing caused by this and this dominate. Also, this may also happen because there is turbulence, there is a mixing between this and this. So maybe this is the boundary layer which is the talking about it. But this is not talking about any layer or boundary, na, where weather phenomena this take place. But maybe it can be the answer. So with 50-50 option, we can choose any of the I think this should be the answer, because here there is the layer that we can imagine through it. So maybe it can be skippable also, but if we are in the 50-50, then we should always attempt that question, Moving to the next question, which says, regarding the layers of atmosphere, the stratosphere contains the ozone layer, which absorb and block significant portion of sun harmful radiation, right? The mesosphere is the coldest layer of the atmosphere, and is where most meteors burns up upon entering the earth's atmosphere. Okay. So we all know that there are 5 layers: ETMST. ETMST. This is troposphere, this is stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. Right. So the mesosphere is the coldest. This is an NCRT fact. Why it is so? There is a diagram which says like this. So this is the meso wala part. ये वाला part जो meso का है. And where meteors burn up upon entering the. Okay, this is the second fact, which can be true or not. So first of all, this is very true. Second of all, the first part is true, where this is the coldest layer, and let's just see if it is true or not. First, read the third statement. The thermosphere experiences a significant rise in temperature due to the absorption of this, and auroras occur. Thermosphere, there is a significant rise. Yes, there is a rise due to the absorption of solar radiation, where aurora occur. It may happen thermosphere also. Right. The exosphere is characterized with a dense molecular composition, act as primary layer of weather system. It is not a primary layer. Very wrong statement. And I think these two are very much interchanged. Aurora occur not in thermosphere, but is in the exhaust. No, this is correct. Aurora occur in thermosphere, and exosphere में तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है खास, तो ये तो प्राइमरी ट्रोपोस्फेयर में होता है. ठीक है, तो ये स्टेटमेंट रॉन्ग हो गई. 444. So these are true. ठीक है. Moving to the next question. Third question says, statement 1, the ionosphere is responsible for the reflection and propagation of radio wave along the long distance Very much factual question, right? Statement 2, the ionosphere reflect the radio wave because of its extremely high density of water vapor, which refracts the waves back to the Earth's surface. Okay, which reflects back to the Earth's surface. Reflects radio wave because of its extremely high density of water vapor. I'm not very sure about the fact of the matter कि वो high density है या क्या है. But if I'm concerned with ionosphere, that means it has ionized particle rather than water vapor. So I don't think it should be water vapor, no, high density of water vapor, which refracts. It is the ion which refracts the waves, radio waves. So it is incorrect, and the statement is this. Moving to the fourth question regarding the troposphere, the primary layer where most of the weather pattern occurs. The troposphere is the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere where the weather phenomena such as rain and this occur at. Right. Second, the height of the atmosphere varies with the latitude. Varies with the latitude. Yes, it is the at poles, and at equator it is 18, and it is 8 at poles because of insolation. So yeah, this is true. The temperature in the troposphere decreases with altitude with an average rate of, so this is known as the environmental lapse rate, ठीक है, which is 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer decrease in the temperature. So all the statements are correct here. Right. Moving to the next question, which of the following best explains why water vapor is mostly concentrated in the troposphere? Water vapor condenses at higher altitude due to low temperature. Okay. Water vapor is denser than air, so it is cannot rise. Okay. Air. Higher altitude lacks sufficient heat for the evaporation. Lacks sufficient heat. Solar radiation prevent water vapor from moving beyond the tropopause. So up to a height, it is saying that up to a height only we can have the water vapors now. Why we cannot have the water vapors beyond troposphere? What is the reason is it, the main reason, what can be the main reason that uh, here the temperature decreases, then temperature increases, then temperature decreases. So when the temperature decreases now, it is the tropopause, and then it increases because of the the UV radiation. So when the temperature rise, it cannot condense, it need low temperature for condensation. So it need low temperature. I hope this is clear. Moving to the next question, what is albedo? The crisp definition is the ability to reflect back. Now, which of the following statements are correct? Albedo refers to the fraction of solar energy reflected back into the space by a surface, right? The albedo effect is relatively high during the early morning and late evening due to the low angle of sunlight. Higher during the early morning and late evening during the low angle of सनलाइट. ओके, सो सुबह में और शाम में कह रहे हैं कि एल्बिडो क्या है, वो रिलेटिवली हाई होता है क्योंकि वो ऐसे रिफ्लेक्ट कर देता है. So when it strikes at the low angle, it creates a more albedo effect because of the reflective surfaces. Now, the albedo value of the tropical evergreen ecosystem is greater than the tropical deciduous ecosystem. So evergreen and deciduous में किस में ज़्यादा albedo value होगी, reflection की value किस में ज़्यादा होगी? Deciduous में ज़्यादा होनी चाहिए, I think, because evergreens are darker ना, so I think they can absorb it, and the darker the more absorption. For example, the black color, this is the simple physics when we say the black color which absorb more heat as compared to white color. So similarly the concept applicable is the same. The deciduous ecosystem have less or the lighter color, and due to which they will reflect. For example, ice reflects more than deserts, right? So this is the concept. The albedo of Mercury is much greater than the albedo of Earth. The albedo of Mercury. So I think according to planet, this is the Sun, this is Mercury, and this is Earth. How can we say that Mercury has greater albedo reflection than Earth? Similarly, I think the same concept applicable is here, applicable because of the, the light color or the dark color. So I think as compared to the Mercury, we are um, more darker, no, because of, vegetation, and then mountains, etc., ocean. So we are, so the absorption is here more. What do you say? प्लीज़ कमेंट में लिखना है इसके बारे में, फोर्थ ऑप्शन के बारे में ना. व्हाट कुड बी द राइट थिंग? आई थिंक ऑप्शन सी इज़ राइट आंसर. सॉरी, ऑप्शन सी नहीं, इसमें तो थ्री आ गए ना. ऑप्शन वन एंड टू. ठीक है. मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. ग्लोबल रेडिएशन बैलेंस. ग्लोबल रेडिएशन बैलेंस क्या होता है? ग्लोबल रेडिएशन बैलेंस, सो इट्स लाइक हीट बजट. हीट बजट. Tropical region have radiation surplus. We all know this. And with polar have a radiation deficit. So it is transfer to the polar surface from equator to polar. Heat from surplus to deficit is redistributed by atmospheric circulation, ocean current, and latent heat. Which of the following statement is correct? Both are correct. More than 40% of the incoming insolation is absorbed by the Earth's surface, including oceans and land. So this is from the NCRT diagram, which mentions the incoming, the absorption, the percentage of reflection back to the space, है ना, वो वाला diagram. More than 40% of incoming insolation is absorbed by the Earth's surface. I think this is right. Earth's surface means ocean and land both absorb 40%. More than 20% of the incoming insolation is reflected back into space by this. Right? The atmosphere absorb more than 50% of the incoming insolation due to the, so the atmosphere absorb more than 40% of the incoming insolation due to this. No, the atmosphere actually absorb from reflection back from the terrestrial ground, no? From the Earth's surface, when they reflect it back, then it absorb it, not from the incoming insolation. The Earth's surface emits long wave radiation, which is entirely reflected back into space by the greenhouse gas. Like, no, this is not entirely reflected back by the greenhouse gas, because they have the absorption potential. That is what is creating the global warming effect, absorption by greenhouse gases. So, and what about the long wave? So, Earth radiation. Earth receives short wave from the sun, and it reflect back the long wave. Right? अगर किसी ने ये वाला आइंस्टीन ये पढ़ी हो तो एनर्जी इज इक्वल टू एच न्यू. न्यू इज फ्रीक्वेंसी, विच इज ऑल्सो नोन एज सी बाय लैम्डा. लैम्डा इज वेवलेंथ. Energy from sun is quite higher than energy from earth. So energy from sun is quite higher, and then it is inversely related. Then it becomes of low or short wavelength. That is why we are saying that from sun the incoming solar radiation is of shorter wavelength, because it's have high energy as compared to this it has low wavelength. So this is wrong, and again we are with the 1 and 2. मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ आइसोथर्म. ये तो 2024 में ही आया है क्वेश्चन ऐसा. जनवरी में क्या है और जुलाई में क्या है, राइट? So the isotherms are generally parallel to the latitude, but deviation occur due to the land water distribution and ocean currents. So this statement is correct. Deviations occur due to the land water distribution, because क्या होता है, टेम्परेचर जो पैटर्न है वो क्या हो जाता है, चेंज हो जाता है. आइसोथर्म इज द लाइन having the same temperature, and isoheight is having the same rainfall. आइसोथर्म बेंड पोलवर्ड, ये वाला क्वेश्चन आया था 2024 में. आइसोथर्म बेंड पोलवर्ड ओवर कॉन्टिनेंट्स ड्यूरिंग विंटर मीन्स जनवरी, बिकॉज लैंड कूल्स डाउन फास्टर देन ओशन. वी ऑल नो दैट लैंड जो है वो कूल भी फास्ट होती है और हीट भी फास्ट होती है. तो उसकी वजह से लेट अस जस्ट एज्यूम दिस. सो मान लो ये है हमारा एशिया, ये है हमारा अमेरिका. सो व्हाट हैपन इन जनवरी, the land mass will be cooler more than the ocean. So if this is the 10 degree, let's say the 10 degree Celsius isotherm in the ocean, it will have The isotherm on the landmass will be at this, right? So this is poleward during the January, and no, sorry, it is the other way around now, because the landmass cool down more easily. So from the from this area only, it is more cooler than the ocean, because it cools down more. यहाँ पे भी ये 10 है, ये 12 है, I'm सॉरी, ये 10 है, ये 8 है, देन ये 4 है, ऐसे करके। तो यहाँ पे भी बहुत ही क्या हो जाएगा, ठंडा हो जाएगा एज़ कम्पेयर टू दिस वन। तो ओशन में तो यहाँ पे होगा 10, लेकिन यहाँ पे बिल्कुल इक्वेटर के पास होगा 10 डिग्री सेल्सियस, राइट। द इक्वेटर, सो दिस बिकम्स रॉन्ग, ठीक है। सो विंटर्स में कॉन्टिनेंट में क्या होता है, इक्वेटर वर्ड। अब इस ट्रिक को ट्रिक बनाना है या कैसे करना है, यू कैन manage yourself. The equatorial region has the most uniform isotherm because of consistent solar radiation throughout the year. Equatorial region, most uniform isotherm because of the consistent solar radiation. Yes, this is almost, yeah, this is almost very true, because the consistency of the solar radiation, it make it like the fluctuation in the thermal or the isotherm is very less in the equatorial region. That is why it is more uniform. So this is right, and this becomes only 2. Now how many of the above are cold wind? So we have to learn the map, which is cold, which is cold wind, which is hot wind, in the local wind chapter of GC Leong में भी है या फिर NCERT में भी है. So Bora is a cold wind. Mistral is a hot wind. यूरोप में है ये. And sorry, Mistral is not cold, it is not hot, it is cold wind in France area, right? It came, so let me just draw it here. So Bora is a wind which is in similar in Adriatic Sea, cold wind. Mistral is here France. Sirocco is near Africa, which is a hot wind during towards the Mediterranean Sea. It is a hot wind. Harmattan is a doctor wind towards the Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of there is a gulf known as I'm just forgetting the name. And Zonda is again a hot wind. It is in the South America near Argentina. Pampero is a cold wind. Pampero is in the South America, in regions of Uruguay and Argentina. So three are local wind that are cold winds, right? Moving to the next question, cellular model of atmospheric circulation. So we come across 3 type of model, which is the first one is the Farrell model, Hadley model, and the polar model, right? So in the Farrell model, Hadley, and the polar cell model, this is the cellular model of atmospheric circulation. So the Farrell model assumes a simple earth with a uniform surface and no rotation, and it explains the division of atmosphere into the 3 distinct cells. Explain the Walker cell, which is large scale east west atmospheric circulation. Okay, yeah, there are 3 cells that are being discussed with this and this है ना, ये polar cell, ये subtropical, ये tropical. This is correct. And no rotation, ये तो सही बात नहीं है, no rotation वाली. They have assumed that there is a rotation of earth and uniform surface, right? So because of the Coriolis force, they have known the idea of Coriolis force. That is why I'm saying there is a rotation. The Farrell cell explain the Walker cell, which is, I think it is very early to say that they were able to explain the Walker cells at a large scale. I don't think they are able to. No, right? So the statement only 2 is correct with respect to Coriolis force. So the first statement is Coriolis force acts perpendicular to the direction of motion. Acts perpendicular, we all know this. The statement is right. It makes right angle to the path of motion. Okay, so I can just draw the diagram. So this is the perpendicular force, this is the wind, this is the direction, and this is the Coriolis force. Okay, so this is the wind direction, this is the Coriolis force, and this is the moment of body. It is maximum at the pole and decreases toward equator, becoming negligible at the equator. It is correct. We all know at 90 degree it is maximum and at 0 degree it is minimum, negligible. EP by QA 2024. The Coriolis force affect directly both the direction and the speed of wind and the ocean current. It is not directly affect both the direction and the speed. It just affect the direction, because we all study now in northern hemisphere it deflect the winds in the right direction, and in the southern hemisphere the wind direction are reflected in the left side. So it does not affect the speed of the wind of the ocean current. It is directly caused due to the earth revolution around the sun. Around the sun, it is not due to the rotation around the sun, but it is due to its own rotation. I think it should be corrected by way of saying that it is rotating, that's why it is acting as a force in the opposite direction, right? So if the earth is moving from west to east, it is acting from east to west, right? So this is wrong, this is also wrong, this is right, and this is right. So only two statements are right here. Moving to 13th question, which says, with reference to the vertical distribution of temperature in the atmosphere, consider the following statement. Temperature increases uniformly with the altitude throughout the troposphere. Throughout the troposphere, I think the temperature is not uniformly rises, but we all study ना कि the local factors, जैसे हम उसमें पढ़ते हैं the air fronts, right? So during that also we study air current and other thing, how the local factors play a major role. For example, mountains and valleys, where the temperature rise is not so uniform as compared to the desert area. So this is wrong. The tropopause is the boundary where the temperature inversion can occur. Temperature inversion is a concept in itself, which is temperature generally decreases, but here temperature rises with altitude, which can happen in tropopause, right? So this is the diagram you can understand through this. This is the troposphere, and by tropopause occur, and then the temperature again rises. The rate of temperature decrease in the troposphere is known as lapse rate. ये तो पहले ही क्वेश्चन में आ चुका है, 6.5 degree Celsius per kilometers. Environmental lapse rate. So this is again true. So 2 and 3 are right here. Moving to the next question. With reference to the roaring 40s पढ़ा है हमने, then 50s पढ़ा है, striking. These winds are stronger in southern hemisphere due to the presence of relatively less land mass. This is correct. They are westerly wind and primarily located between 40 to 50 degree latitude. Yes, roaring 40s मतलब 40 degrees, at 40 degrees latitude we see a high speed wind which occur, also known as westerly winds. This is right. They have a significant impact on the ocean current in the northern hemisphere. I think it should be the southern hemisphere, na? Because in the northern hemisphere the ocean currents will not be much impacted by the 40s, because there the landmass is more as compared to in the southern hemisphere again. So this is about southern hemisphere. So this become wrongs, and only 1 and 2 are correct here. Moving to the next question. Assertion is anticyclones are often associated with clean and calm weather. Anticyclones associated हैं clean and calm weather. Okay. Air descends and diverges in an anticyclonic system, inhibiting the cloud formation. Okay. So cyclones में क्या होता है कि not so calm and clear weather because of low pressure, and because of which the air rises and forms clouds, cumulonimbus cloud in the cyclones. But here the anticyclonic cyclones are given, which is associated with high pressure and which is very stable. The air subsides here and do not form the clouds. So clouds will not be formed, which means there will be a calmer condition than the low pressure in the cyclonic activities. The reason is also the correct one. Diverges, air descends, anticyclone inhibiting cloud formation. So both are A and R true, and R is the correct explanation for A. Right? Moving to 16th question, with reference to the planetary wind system, consider the following statement. Trade winds blow from subtropical high pressure belt toward equatorial low belt pressure. So trade wind किसके ये हो गया हमारा इक्वेटर, एंड ट्रेड विंड ऐसे होती हैं इन द ट्रॉपिकल एरियाज एंड इन सदर्न हेमिस्फेयर इन दिस वे. नाउ फ्रॉम सब ट्रॉपिकल हाई प्रेशर बेल्ट टुवर्ड इक्वेटोरियल लो प्रेशर बेल्ट. सो वी ऑल नो द विंड मूव फ्रॉम हाई से लो बेल्ट, एंड सब ट्रॉपिकल बेल्ट कौन सी होती है, हाई प्रेशर, और इस पर क्या होता है, इक्वेटोरियल पे लो प्रेशर. सो ट्रेड विंड्स मूव फ्रॉम राइट फ्रॉम हाई प्रेशर टू लो प्रेशर. सो दिस इज राइट. Westerlies are stronger and more persistent in the northern hemisphere due to the presence of vast land mass. अब कोई भी चीज़ स्ट्रॉन्ग मोर परसिस्टेंट इसलिए तो नहीं होगी ना, क्योंकि वहाँ पे क्या है, मोर लैंड मास है, राइट, जो अभी ऊपर पढ़ के आए हम. दैट इज़ नॉट बिकॉज दैट इज़ मोर लैंड मास. यहाँ पे तो नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फेयर नहीं होगा, यहाँ पे क्या होगा, सदर्न हेमिस्फेयर. सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग. पोलर ईस्टर्लीज फ्लो फ्रॉम पोलर लो प्रेशर रीजन एंड कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट टू द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ सब पोलर लोज. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है, ये हो गया हमारा पोलर हाई प्रेशर, यहाँ पे क्या था, सब पोलर लो, देन हाई देन लो प्रेशर. अभी क्या था, पोलर ईस्टर्लीज, हाई से लो कैसे जाएगी, ऐसे पोलर ईस्टर्लीज. अब इसको हम क्या बोलेंगे, जिस तरफ से आ रही है, दैट इज़ ये ईस्ट है, ये वेस्ट है, तो ये इधर से इधर आ रही है, तो ये होगी ईस्टर्लीज. फ्लो फ्रॉम पोलर लो प्रेशर रीजन एंड कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट टू द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ सब पोलर लो. दिस इज़ अगेन रॉन्ग बिकॉज ये लो प्रेशर से नहीं आ रही है, ये हाई प्रेशर से आ रही है पोलर रीजन से, और लो प्रेशर सब पोलर पे जा रही है. ठीक है, तो ये रॉन्ग हो गया. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट. अगर आपको दोबारा समझना हो तो कमेंट कर देना. सो ओनली वन स्टेटमेंट इज राइट हेयर. With reference to air masses, consider the following statement. Tropical air mass are generally warmer than polar air masses. Okay, generally warmer. Next, so continental air mass are more humid than maritime air masses. Okay, humid मतलब wet. तो ये तो contrast हो गया. So I will not take the second as correct. Air masses acquire their characteristics from the source region over which they form. राइट, ये तो हम पढ़ते हैं. सोर्स रीजन मतलब द लोकल कंडीशंस ऑफ द रीजन. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ देर इज अंटार्कटिक रीजन देन विल बी हाई प्रेशर एंड स्टेबल कंडीशंस. इफ देर इज सहारा डेजर्ट्स देन देर विल बी लो प्रेशर अनस्टेबल कंडीशंस. राइट, सो दिस इज द सोर्स रीजन ड्यू टू विच द एयर masses acquire the characteristics. So this is right. Maritime tropical air masses tend to be more stable than continental tropical air masses. So this is the tropical belt. Let's say this is the tropical belt and this is for example the Africa. तो आपको क्या लगता है, कॉन्टिनेंट पे ज़्यादा स्टेबल होगी या मरीन एरियाज़ में? ये बोल रहे हैं मैरीटाइम ट्रॉपिकल एयर मासेस टेंड टू बी मोर स्टेबल. व्हाट डू यू थिंक? आई थिंक मरीन में हमेशा लेस स्टेबल होगा, राइट. जिसको हम MTB बोलते हैं, मैरीटाइम ट्रॉपिकल, और ये बोलते हैं सी ट्रॉपिकल, कॉन्टिनेंटल ट्रॉपिकल, बिकॉज यहाँ पे मॉइस्चर कंटेंट तो कम है, तो हमारी क्लाउड्स फॉर्मेशन भी कम होंगे, तो देयर विल बी मोर स्टेबिलिटी हेयर. मोर क्लाउड्स फॉर्म देन अनस्टेबल कंडीशंस, राइट. सो जब भी मैरीटाइम की बात आती है तो हम क्लाउड्स की फॉर्म को सोचते हैं, दैट इज़ अनस्टेबिलिटी. दैट इज़ वाई दे आर नॉट वेरी मच स्टेबल. सो दिस बिकम्स रॉन्ग. The first statement was the tropical air masses are generally warmer than the polar air mass. I think this is a very general statement, right? So this is because of the latitude, more hot tropical region as compared to the polar region. This is a low pressure, this is a high pressure. Low pressure means warmer means unstable, right? So here only two statements 1 and 3 are correct. Moving to the next question with reference to the forces affecting the wind's movement. So the pressure gradient force is strongest where isobars are far apart. Okay, frictional force has the greatest impact on the wind movement at high latitude. Okay, so सबसे पहले हमें पता होना चाहिए कि there are three forces which is very much in the responsible for the movement of the wind. What is this? The first is the pressure gradient. force, then Coriolis force, and then the frictional force, right? So the pressure gradient force is the strongest where isobars, where the pressures means the pressure belt, are far apart. So this is the first isobar, this is the second isobar, let's say this is the third isobar. So difference between these two are less as compared to these two, राइट सो अभी पूछ रहे हैं कि प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट फोर्स किस में ज़्यादा होगा, स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट इसमें होगा या फिर इसमें होगा. आई थिंक इट शुड बी इसमें. क्लोज जब क्लोज होंगे जब तो प्रेशर ज़्यादा बनेगा ना. व्हाट यू से, ग्रेटर प्रेशर डिफरेंस होगा. दैट मीन्स स्ट्रॉन्ग विंड्स होंगी. और इसमें क्या होगा, लेस प्रेशर डिफरेंस होगा, राइट. फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स हैज़ अ ग्रेटेस्ट इम्पैक्ट ऑन द विंड मोमेंट एट हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड. ओके, फ्रिक्शनल कब होता है, जब सरफेस पे होते हैं आप, तो एटमॉस्फेयर में तो नहीं होगा, तो यहाँ पे होगा नियर द सरफेस. सो एट हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड मतलब हाइट पे, ये बोल रहा है कि यहाँ पे समवेयर हेयर या फिर ये हेयर, इन दोनों में से कहाँ पे फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स जो है वो ज़्यादा होगा. आई थिंक यहाँ पे ही होगा, क्योंकि मोर the difference between the height is less, and therefore the frictional force will tend to be more in the near the surface. ऊपर तो एयर पार्टिकल्स भी दूर दूर होते हैं, तो here they are much closer, so that is why the frictional force is also, ये तो हम क्लास 11th में पढ़ते हैं ना फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स. बस ये है थोड़ा सा जिसको आप समझ सकते हैं कि जो प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट फोर्स है वो स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट होगा वेट आइसोबार्स आर क्लोजर, नॉट फार अपार्ट. एंड देन दैट मीन्स बोथ द स्टेटमेंट्स आर रॉन्ग हियर एंड द आंसर इज नाइदर 1 nor 2. Moving to the next question, which is regarding consider the following pairs regarding the different types of climate. The tropical savanna associated with the central parts of continent. I think this is true, right? Wait a minute. Tropical savanna means the rainforest region, na? Tropical region, the rainforest, central part of continent. Then tundra climate. I think this is very much polar region and cool interior region of all the continent, not all the continent. It is particularly in the high pressure belt. Humid subtropical. Humid subtropical means high pressure, and that means humid high pressure. Eastern coast of continent. So let's see, this is the subtropical area, and this is equator, tropical, subtropical, and eastern coast of continent. So let's just say this is Africa and eastern coast of continent. So this is the eastern coast, and humid subtropical. So that means yes, hot humid summers, and also there will be mild winters. South Africa also, near this region also, right? So this is eastern coast of continent, humid subtropical climate. Tundra climate, ये तो गलती हो गया, तो the answer should be this only, क्योंकि जो सवाना है ना वो ट्रॉपिकल एरियाज में ट्रांजिशनल जोन का काम करते हैं बिटवीन द रेन फॉरेस्ट एंड द डेजर्ट रीजन ना. वी स्टडी सवाना, सो दिस इज द रेन फॉरेस्ट and this is the desert, so this is the savanna grasslands. It is not always कि भाई वो central parts में ही मिलेगा continents की, right? वो edges पे मिलते हैं of either of the rainforest or of the deserts. It is not in the central part always. So only one is correct. The climate topic is very important, first of all, with respect to the prelims. Now the other question is similar. Climate, the tropical monsoon climate, several seasonal reversal of wind, heavy rainfall in summer. Summers में rainfall होती है, and this is right. Mediterranean climate found in the eastern coast of continent. ईस्टर्न कोस्ट ऑफ कॉन्टिनेंट। आई थिंक दिस इज नॉट इन द ईस्टर्न। जब आपके पास दो ऑप्शन होते हैं, वेस्टर्न या ईस्टर्न, नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर या सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर, तो यू शुड ऑलवेज टेक अ सेकेंड थॉट कि भाई ये ईस्टर्न ही होगा या वेस्टर्न भी हो सकता है। सो अभी मैंने वैसे ही सोचा, अगर ये वेस्टर्न होता तो क्या, अभी वेस्टर्न में ही तो मिलते हैं मेडिटेरेनियन सी, जहाँ पे क्या होता है, हॉट एंड ड्राई समर बट वेट विंटर्स, राइट। So for example, if you remember those map where we just this is the US, where we mark this as the Mediterranean Sea, Mediterranean climate, South Africa, then Central Chile, right, and Southern Australia. So this is in the western sides. Temperate grassland. So temperate means cooler region. Pampas region in North America. Wait, Pampas grasslands are not in the नॉर्दर्न अमेरिका बट इन द अर्जेंटीना। नॉर्थ अमेरिका में कौन सी है, प्रेरीज। एंड यूरेशिया में है स्टेपीज। एंड साउथ अफ्रीका में कौन सी है, वेल्स। ऑस्ट्रेलिया में है डाउन्स। तो ये थोड़ा सा रिवाइज हो गया, सॉरी, ग्रासलैंड्स। तो ये रॉन्ग हो गया, ये रॉन्ग हो गया, एंड ओनली वन इज़ करेक्ट हियर ऑल्सो, करेक्ट। नाउ अगेन, ये वैसे वाला क्वेश्चन है, बूझो तो जानी, रिडल टाइप। बताओ कौन सा क्लाइमेट है, राइट। दीज रीजन फाउंड इन द ईस्टर्न मार्जिन ऑफ द कॉन्टिनेंट, ईस्टर्न मार्जिन ऑफ द कॉन्टिनेंट इन वार्म टेम्परेट लैटिट्यूड। कितना हिंट दिया, ईस्टर्न मार्जिन ऑफ कॉन्टिनेंट। तो ये तो हमारा वेस्टर्न पड़ा था हमने, ये तो कट गया, ठीक है। वार्म मॉइस्ट समर एंड कूल ड्राई विंटर्स, ओके। ये तो वैसे भी ड्राई नहीं होते विंटर्स, वेट विंटर्स होते हैं, एक हिंट और होता है इसमें, ठीक है। तो ये हो गया कैंसिल। रेनफॉल होती है भाई इतना, इज़ इवनली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड विद ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन लाइक दिस एंड दिस अकरिंग, मतलब टाइफून्स हरिकेन्स अक्कर होते हैं। वेजिटेशन इंक्लूड एवरग्रीन ब्रॉड लीव्स, एवरग्रीन, ओके। वार्म टेम्परेट लैटिट्यूड्स, broad-leaved forest and deciduous hardwood. Economically, they are major rice-growing areas and producer of sugarcane, cotton, and timber. Timber. Rice-growing areas. Tropical monsoon climate है क्या ये? Eastern margin. ट्रॉपिकल मानसून तो हमेशा ईस्टर्न हो ये ज़रूरी नहीं है, बट होता है, बट वो क्या है, वार्म टेम्परेट लैटिट्यूड, वो क्या हो गया, ट्रॉपिकल हो गया, टेम्परेट बोला इसने। इफ सी हेयर टेम्परेट बोला, ये है ट्रॉपिकल, तो ये तो कैन नॉट हैपन। वार्म टेम्परेट ईस्टर्न मार्जिन, वार्म टेम्परेट ईस्टर्न मार्जिन, अब कोई लिंक लगाएगा तो यही होगा। ह्यूमिड कॉन्टिनेंटल क्लाइमेट, इसका तो भाई कुछ भी हो सकता है। ह्यूमिड कॉन्टिनेंटल, ह्यूमिड कॉन्टिनेंटल मतलब इन द इंटीरियर्स ऑफ कॉन्टिनेंट, हॉट, inside US, inside Russia, inside Europe. So yeah, I don't think this is the answer. I think this is the most probable that can happen here. Within the word association, we can conclude with this only. Consider the following statement regarding the mid latitude region. मतलब mid latitude का मतलब वही हो गया temperate side, temperate regions. So mid latitude regions are primarily influenced by temperate cyclone, which is right, which bring consistent rainfall throughout the year, right. The middle latitude region experience pronounced seasonal variation due to their location between tropical and polar zone. So there is a seasonal variation, they are saying. Yeah, there is seasonal variation because of the shifting of the belts of ITCZ. When they shift, the westerlies come down, and when they ITCZ shift upward, then trade winds come in. So that is why between tropical and polar zone, this shifts. Mid-latitude regions host both the Mediterranean climate and the western coast marine climate, which are distinct in their seasonal rainfall distribution temperature range. Yeah, because what happened, Mediterranean climate or the mid-latitude, इसमें क्या होता है, wet winters, marine wet coast, and ये तो होता ही है, तो we can also mark it right, and we are asked with the incorrect one. So the mid latitude, ये तो दोनों करेक्ट हो गए। The mid latitude region are primarily influenced by temperate cyclones which consistent rainfall throughout the year. हाँ, throughout the year, ये सेंटेंस गलत है, throughout the year। दिस इज़ नॉट थ्रू आउट. इक्वेटोरियल रीजन में क्या होगा फिर? यहाँ पे ये हो गया तो फिर इक्वेटोरियल में भी तो होना है ना. तो दैट इज़ वाई दे आर रॉन्ग. सो ओनली वन इज रॉन्ग. Moving to the next question is, in general, the amount of water vapor present in the air decreases from equator to poles. In general. ठीक है भाई, मान लेते हैं in general it is very much in consonant with what we have studied. Right. High concentration of dust particle in prominent in the equatorial region due to the strong descending wind. Descending wind? Descending winds. I don't think there is a descending wind in the equatorial region. Because of the low pressure, I can't say that this is descending, but it is in the ascending. Carbon dioxide gas present in the air absorb infrared rays, causing the global warming. Of course, they absorb the greenhouse gases and infrared rays. That is why, which further raises the greenhouse effect. So I think only 2 are correct here, 1 and 3. Tropical cyclone statement 1 says tropical cyclones are not formed at the equator. Yes. Why this is correct? Because of the absence of Coriolis force. This is absent in the equator. Second statement says the Coriolis force is 0 at the equator, which prevent the intensification of the low pressure area. It is also the right explanation of the statement 1. So the answer is A. 25 question. With respect to Earth atmosphere, the atmosphere is transparent to the long wave terrestrial radiation. Incorrect पूछा गया है. तो हमको पता है कि from Earth, the Earth secretes the long wave radiation, which is opaque to the troposphere. But the incoming solar radiations, which is the short wave radiation, they are transparent to the Earth's surface. So this is correct. No, this is not correct. This is not transparent to the long wave radiation. So this is incorrect. The blue color of the sky due to the scattering of light within the atmosphere. This is also right. This is right. Scattering होती है भाई. The maximum amount of insolation is received at the equator. No, the subtropical belt, which receives because of at equator, what is happening? More evaporation and then more cloudiness occur there. That is why the insolation cannot penetrate through the clouds at equator, and that is why subtropical belt are the one where the maximum insolation is recorded. So this is incorrect, and that is why 1 and 3 are incorrect. Which among the following form the ideal condition of inversion of temperature? So there are few conditions, that there should be long winter nights, sky full of there should be clarity of clouds. There should be no clouds, cloudless sky. So this is the surface. Inversion of temperature means as you increase the height, the temperature also increases. And if the clouds are there, then it will not increase, it will decrease. Right? High horizontal movement of air. No, there should not be any movement. There should be a still air. There should be a still air, calm condition, stable condition. And that is why there should be a high pressure region where there should be, for example, the polar regions where the temperature inversion is normal throughout the year, right? So this is why how many of the ideal conditions? Only one. So these were the 3 conditions of inversion of temperature. Apart from that, we also study that there are types of inversion that happens. For example, चलो वो बाद में बताते हैं क्योंकि अभी थोड़ा टेक्निकल हो जाएगा. Tropical and extra tropical cyclones. Tropical and extra tropical cyclones. The extra tropical cyclones have a clear frontal system which is not present in the tropical cyclone. Extra tropical से मतलब है anti cyclones, which is correct. Frontal system किसमें होता है? Anti cyclonic system में. The extra tropical cyclone move from east to west, but tropical cyclone move from west to east. I think they are interchanged. है ना? क्योंकि हम क्या पढ़ते हैं? Direction which is from the cyclone move from east to west. इधर ही तो आते हैं. So that is clear. Statement 2 is wrong. Third, tropical cyclones can originate only on the seas, while the extratropical can occur both at land. This is very much right. So option 1 and 3 are correct. Okay, then again climatology. It is extensively found to the north and south of the Amazon forest in the Brazil. अब कितना डिटेल में पहुंचा दिया, लोकेशन बता दी भाई. एक्सटेंसिवली फाउंड टू द नॉर्थ एंड साउथ ऑफ द अमेजन फॉरेस्ट. ठीक है, तो अगर हम ऐसे देखें तो दिस इज़ द अमेजन फॉरेस्ट. तो एक्सटेंसिवली फाउंड टू द नॉर्थ एंड द साउथ इधर मिलता है. एंड इफ़ यू रिमेंबर, वेयर इज़ द इक्वेटर? द इक्वेटर lies somewhere between this, right? And we all know that the wet season is shorter and the dry season is longer, okay, with the drought being more severe. Temperature is high throughout the year. Diurnal range are greatest in the dry region. Deciduous forest and tree shaded grassland are the vegetation found in this climate. So it cannot be the this. So there's a subtropical steppe and the subtropical desert. So I don't think it becomes subtropical in anywhere from this region to this region, right? And tropical, it is a tropical, wet and dry climate. So I think this should be the answer. Adjoining the forest, some deciduous forests are there in this region. And again, there is a tree shaded grasslands are also there, so wet and dry, right? So coming to question number 29, consider the following statement regarding the heat budget of the earth. The amount reflected back to the space is higher than the amount reaching to the surface. What do you say? Is the statement right? I think from the NCERT diagram, which what we study, roughly 30 to 35% are directly sent back to the space, right? In the above question, we even studied 30%, right? 30 to 35%, which is reflected back, is higher than the, no, it is not higher, it is very less. The amount absorbed within the atmosphere is higher than the amount absorbed by the Earth's surface. Again, nearly 40% is absorbed by the Earth's surface. Remember this. So this is again wrong. Surplus heat transfer from the tropic is limited to the subtropical region only. No, it is not limited to the subtropical. It is very much transferred to the polar, the subpolar belt also. So the correct is none. The last question of the video is Köppen scheme of classification. A, B, E. We all know E reflects to how much of the pairs are correctly matched. E refers to the frozen part, the cooler. The average temperature of the coldest month is minus. So this is particularly very technical, where you should remember the degrees of temperature, which is the boundary region, which is in the given in the NCERT. So let me just draw it here. So for example, this is the tropical belt, which is seen to be A, then C, then D, then E. E के भी दो पार्ट्स होते हैं, एक होता है फ्रोज़न, एक होता है तुंद्रा. तो फ्रोज़न वाला ऊपर होता है क्योंकि वो तो अल्टीमेट फ्रोज़न है. दिस इज़ द इक्वेटर. सो व्हाट इज़ द बाउंड्री बिटवीन A एंड C? दिस इज़ 18 डिग्री सेल्सियस ऑफ समर आइसोथर्म, सॉरी विंटर आइसोथर्म. A एंड C के बीच में है 18 डिग्री सेल्सियस. देन C एंड D के बीच में है -3 से लेके 18 डिग्री सेल्सियस विंटर आइसोथर्म. देन बिटवीन D एंड E देर इज़ 16 डिग्री सेल्सियस ऑफ समर आइसोथर्म. मतलब गर्मियों में इतना रहेगा एवरेज टेम्परेचर, और इसमें क्या सर्दियों में 18 डिग्री रहेगा, इसमें भी सर्दियों में -3 to 18 डिग्री रहेगा. बिटवीन EF एंड ET देर इज़ 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस समर आइसोथर्म. समर आइसोथर्म में एवरेज रहेगा 0 डिग्री. नाउ कमिंग टू द क्वेश्चन, ए है हमारा एवरेज टेम्परेचर कोल्डेस्ट मंथ का 18 डिग्री और हायर. दिस इज़ राइट. देन एवरेज टेम्परेचर ऑफ द कोल्डेस्ट मंथ इन माइनस दिस एंड दिस. बी नहीं है, वो सी है. ठीक है, सो इट इज़ नॉट बी, इट इज़ सी. ई हो गया हमारा कोल्डेस्ट मंथ इज़ -3, और नो इट इज़ नॉट -3, इट इज़ 0 डिग्री और 16 डिग्री आइसोथर्म, समर आइसोथर्म. ठीक है, तो ये भी रॉन्ग हो गया. सो ओनली वन इज़ करेक्ट, राइट. Okay, we have wind up the test for the geography. Let's just absorb the concept that we have learnt, and then back to the basic we have to revise our static books, right? Then comment में ये ज़रूर बताना कि वीडियो कैसी लगी, और अगर आपको कुछ और डाउट है तो वो भी आप कमेंट में डाल सकते हैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच.